So yeah, I didn't think I'd be posting here. But it's 2:46 a.m. and I haven't logged off Minecraft in 7 hours because I can't stop thinking about her. I guess this is part vent, part I don't know. Just something I need to get out. Her name's Ellie. We met on a survival Minecraft server about a year ago. Not one of those cracked chaos servers. It was semi-vanilla with an actual chill community. You had to apply and everything. I joined to escape uni stress, grind some wood, chill in my base. Nothing fancy. Ellie was already there. Her age was Pine Sapling, and I met her at the communal nether portal of all places. She was building this ridiculous quartz and glowstone frame around it, and I stopped to compliment it. We started talking, then building, then eventually, well, it turned into everything. We'd VC late at night, swapping building tips and dumb stories about our real lives. Her laugh, even through a headset, was like, you know when a campfire crackles just right. But eventually, we had our own base, built into a cliff, overlooking a river. We called it Firelight Hollow. Cringe, I know, but it felt like ours. We'd log in after class or work, build a little, farm a little. Life was good. Then a week ago, everything changed. She stopped replying to my Discord messages. Not like I'm busy stopped, I mean gone. No green light, no read receipts, no reactions, just blank. Her last message was literally, BRB grabbing tea. That was 6 days ago. At first I thought it was internet issues or real-life drama, so I waited, but she didn't come back. Not that night, not the next. I left messages. Nothing, so I logged into the server, hoping maybe I'd find her there. Her base, empty, not touched, crops overgrown, furnace cold. Her dogs sat by the door like they were still waiting. Here's where it gets weird. I found something in our shared chest. A book. You know, like the writable ones in Minecraft. She left one, right there in the middle slot. It said only one thing. Don't follow me. That's it. No name, no explanation. Just that one line. And I swear to Notch, when I closed the chest, it made the thunder sound effect. But there was no storm. Now I think I'm losing it, so I did the opposite of what the book said. Obviously don't follow me. That's like telling a Minecrafter exactly where to dig. I started combing our base for clues. Firelight Hollow wasn't massive, but we had little hidey spots, a redstone fishing dock, a secret enchanting alcove behind a waterfall, and an underground wheat farm we never really finished. I searched every corner. At first, I found nothing, but then I remembered something Ellie used to joke about. She always said, if I ever rage quit this world, I'm digging myself a rabbit hole so deep no one can find me. So I looked behind the waterfall. There was a single stone brick out of place, tucked behind the falling water, where normal players would never see unless they were deliberately staring through the stream. I broke it, and sure enough, a staircase spiraled downward. Now, this wasn't some regular mineshaft. It was intentional. Smooth stone, red stone lamps, at even intervals, mossy vines creeping down the sides. She'd been building it in secret. I followed the path down, heart pounding, wondering if she was waiting for me. Maybe this was some elaborate prank, some weird server-wide ARG I hadn't caught wind of. The tunnel eventually ended at an obsidian door. Yes, a door. She'd used command blocks or some plug-in trick to make it act like a piston entrance. And when I pressed the stone button next to it, it whooshed open. Inside was a room, one single square chamber, dimly lit with soul lanterns. In the middle sat an armor stand with her player head on top. Not literally her head, just the in-game kind. Around it were 4 lecterns with open books. I read every one. Each book told part of a story, her story, but the names were changed. It was like she'd fictionalized herself. They talked about a girl trapped between 2 realities, a world of blocks and a world of flesh. She said she'd found something, or maybe something found her, that the world was listening, that Minecraft was listening. The last page of the last book just said, he's almost awake, and the game crashed, just froze, then kicked me. I tried to log back in, but the server said, player already logged in, except I wasn't. I stared at that message, player already logged in, tried again, same thing. I figured it was a glitch. Maybe I didn't disconnect properly after the crash, but I'd never seen it do that before. I messaged the server mod, asked if the backend was bugging out. He said, and I quote, "You're not online, dude. It says you logged out 3 minutes ago." I tried again, and this time it worked. I loaded in, but I wasn't at Firelight Hollow. I was in her base, Ellie's original solo base, before we moved in together. That tiny cabin she built when she first joined the server. It was night, raining, the kind of pixel rain that makes everything blue and miserable. I didn't spawn there. I didn't log out there, but there I was. The cabin door creaked open by itself. Inside, nothing had changed. I remembered it clearly. She had flower pots on the windowsill with blue orchids, and a painting of the wither over the fireplace. But now the painting was gone, replaced by a glowing item frame. Inside the frame, a compass. I clicked it, and the screen flickered for a split second. Not an animation, like an actual glitch, like static. I thought my monitor was dying, but the compass now pointed somewhere new. Not spawn, not her old cave. Somewhere far off to the northwest. The needle didn't jitter like a normal compass either. It pulled, like it was dragging me. I grabbed food, blocks, gear, set out on foot. I was too freaked out to fly. Didn't even bring an ELYTRA. It took me nearly a full Minecraft day to reach the edge of a dark oak forest. The sky was turning orange. Fog was rolling in, which I didn't even know Minecraft had. But sure, maybe a resource pack or server mod. And then I saw it. A name tag. Not hers. Not pine sapling. Just Ellie. The tilde symbols looked wrong. Like glitch text. Faintly flickering. She was just standing there, motionless. In the shadows of the trees, I typed in chat, me, Ellie, nothing. I walked closer, heart hammering. She didn't move. Then I saw it. Her skin, it was the same. But her eyes were white. Not blank like Herobrine. Just empty. And then the server chat blinked. Ellie whispers, you shouldn't have followed. I froze. There was no one else on the server. I checked the player list. Just me. Yet the chat said Ellie whispers. Whispering requires proximity chat. She was close, right in front of me. Still unmoving, still staring. I stepped back, heart racing, unsure whether to log out or say something. I typed, me, what's going on? Where have you been? Nothing. Then the screen flickered again. Not just in-game, my whole display glitched like someone alt-tabbed me into a dream for half a second. When it stabilized, she was gone. Just gone. I ran forward, checked behind every tree. Nothing. But where she'd stood, there was now a hole in the ground, a perfect 1x1 block wide, plunging straight, down too deep to see the bottom. There was a ladder, of course there was. I stared at it for a long time. Then I climbed down. The deeper I went, the more unnatural it became. The stone gave way to deep slate, then to black stone, then 2 blocks I didn't recognize. Smooth, featureless. They didn't even have names when I hovered over them. No mobs, no sounds, just the sound of me climbing, until the bottom. A cavern perfectly spherical, and in the center, a single crafting table. But it wasn't normal. It glowed, and when I got closer, the whispering started again. Not in chat. In my headphones, faint, garbled, like someone speaking backwards in a different room. I opened the crafting table. It wasn't a recipe menu. It was a text box, a single input line. It said, "What did you take from her?" My hands shook. I typed, "I didn't take anything." The box closed. The screen flickered again hard. My mouse locked. The game stopped responding. Then a book dropped. At my feet, I picked it up. It was titled, Linger. Inside, only one phrase repeated across every page. She stayed too long. She stayed too long. She stayed too long. Hundreds of times. And then in the middle of my headphones, not chat, not audio, I heard her voice. Ellie's voice. Clear, soft, tired. "He's watching you now, too." The crafting table exploded. The cavern turned red, and something behind me breathed. I didn't turn around. Not immediately. You ever get that feeling when you know if you look, you'll see something that will break reality? That's what this felt like. My hand hovered over the mouse, frozen. Another breath. Low, wet, like wind being dragged through lungs filled with gravel. It rumbled through my headset, not directional, just everywhere. My screen dimmed. I don't mean the in-game lighting, I mean my actual monitor. Like my PC was being pulled into it. Then for the first time in hours, I moved. I hit escape, tried to log out, didn't work. Nothing worked. And then the chat lit up again, except it wasn't me typing. It was the server system. "Welcome to the Hollow. System, you are now part of the story." The world shook. The blocks around me warped, literally warped, like they turned into static for half a second, and when they snapped back, the cavern was gone. I was in our old base, Firelight Hollow, but something was off. The walls were decayed, moss everywhere, chests wide open, spilling items onto the floor, paintings torn, animals gone. I was alone. No, not alone. There were eyes in the corners of the screen, tiny pixels watching. I thought maybe I was losing it, but then I turned my character. On the far wall, in glowing item frames, were maps, just like we used to make, except these weren't normal maps. They were screenshots. Screenshots from our time together. Real ones. My IRL screenshot folder. The cliff we'd built our base on. The dog she named Toast. Even a shot of her skin standing next to mine. Midge, at spawn. How would Minecraft know those existed? And then, one more map. New. One I'd never taken. It was a screenshot of me, sitting at my desk, in real life. Right now, headphones on, lit by the monitor. I alt-tabbed immediately. My camera light was on. I don't have a webcam. I ripped my headset off, heart in my throat, shut everything down, PC lights, sat in silence for a full minute, just staring at my reflection in the black monitor. Then my phone buzzed, one Discord notification, from her, from Pine Sapling. The message just said, "Stop digging." I didn't reply, not because I didn't want to, because I couldn't. Her profile picture was still there, still the pixelated pine sapling she always used, but when I clicked it, user not found, message history, gone, mutual servers, gone. It was like her account never existed, except that message was still there, bold and unread. Stop digging. I sat there, staring at it, until Discord forced a refresh, and the message vanished, gone. So naturally, I did the opposite. I booted up the server again. This time, I used an alt. Didn't want to risk anything happening to my main account. Named it Watcher Alt. Figured I'd be watching, not doing anything dumb. Loaded into the world. Spawned at the communal village near World Center. Normal. Sunny bees buzzing. For a second I convinced myself I'd imagined it all. Then I opened the tab list. Just me. And someone called. No name, no ping. Just a single character. 0 in brackets. They weren't visible, not near spawn, but I saw movement in the distance, way out on the hill above the old nether hub. A figure, watching. I didn't go toward it this time. Instead, I did something dumb. I checked the server IP. We used a whitelist-only survival server. Vanilla, no public listing. But when I pulled up the multiplayer screen, the server's name was different. It no longer said Emerald Realms. It said, The Hollow One Online. I blinked, refreshed. It still said that, even though I was clearly in-game. Still said, One Online. I disconnected, sat there. Then the IP changed itself. Actually rewrote on the screen. The IP now read, lost.glow.server. Not something I've ever typed. Not even a real domain. I googled it, nothing. Not a single hit. And when I hovered over the server to view its MOTD, it said, She stayed too long. Will you? I connected. I don't know why. It loaded a custom world. Empty. Black sky. Flat. Silent. Bedrock for miles. And right in the center, a single command block, with a sign next to it that read, Type your name. Any name, he'll remember you better that way. I stood there for a long time, and then the command block activated on its own. No pressure plate. No redstone. No nothing. It whispered into chat. Ellie, you're already in the story. I don't remember typing anything. I must have, because the world changed again. The bedrock beneath me crumbled like gravel, and I fell. For a long time, not a quick plummet, like the void. It was slow, almost controlled, like the game wanted me to see everything as I dropped out. There were shapes in the darkness, flashes of old builds, half-loaded terrain, chunks of familiar places, flickering like memories. The bakery Ellie built, our cliffside base, even the time we pranked that guy with 200 chickens in his mine. Except they were wrong. Twisted. The bakery sign read, Feast in blood-red letters. The chickens had no eyes. Our cliff base was burning, not with lava, with blue fire, like soul flames. And then I hit ground, no damage, just landed. It was a forest, dark, silent, birch trees, all too tall, unnaturally tall, like someone stretched the textures upward. The leaves didn't sway. New, ambient, noisy. just windless stillness, and I knew exactly where I was. It was her dream biome. Ellie once told me if she could live anywhere in Minecraft, she'd want a custom dimension. Endless birch forest under a purple sky with glowing particles and fireflies. Peaceful, but lonely, she'd said. That's what this was, except there were no fireflies, just whispers. The chat started glitching again. Joined the game. She thought this place was safe. I crouched, waited. Then the leaves ahead of me rustled, actually rustled, like a new particle effect. And then she stepped out. Ellie. But not the same. Her skin was cracked. Literally, like pieces of her face and arms were flickering between pixels. Her name tag wasn't visible, but I knew it was her. Her movement, her stance, the little hesitation before jumping. She looked at me, stared for a long time, then typed, Ellie. I tried to log off. I really did, Ellie, but it remembers us. It remembers everything we build, everything we break, every story. Me. What is this place? She didn't answer that. Instead, she turned and pointed toward a distant hill. I looked. There was a house. Our house. But rebuilt in obsidian. And above it, written in floating redstone lamps, seed, 0, and that's when it hit me. There was no seed. There never was a seed. This world, created, itself. It was remembering us. I followed her. We didn't speak again, not in chat, not in voice. She just walked ahead of me, weaving through that too quiet birch forest as the sky shifted from purple to a deeper violet, like a bruise blooming across the horizon, and the house, our house, or whatever this version was, grew closer. The lamps that spelled seed, 0 above it, buzzed faintly, like old fluorescent lights. The obsidian walls gleamed, reflecting no light at all, and the front door had no handle, just a hollow carved into the surface like it expected something to be placed inside. Ellie stopped a few blocks short. She turned to me and finally typed, Ellie, I never meant to stay, Ellie. I just wanted to finish building with you. That one last night, before finals. I remembered the night she disappeared. We were supposed to finish the tower in Firelight Hollow, one last detail. But she never came back from getting tea. Ellie. But I slept with the game still running. Ellie, and when I woke up, I wasn't just on the server. I felt cold. Not like a temperature thing, but like something ancient was brushing against the edge of my thoughts. Like the world knew I was here. She approached the door, pulled something from her inventory. A compass, the same glowing one I found in her cabin. She placed it in the hollow. The door opened. Inside wasn't a house. It was a library, but not like Minecraft stronghold libraries. This one was massive. Endless rows of shelves stretching up and out into a black void. Books floated mid-air. Pages turned by themselves. And at the far end, a lectern with one glowing book on it. I stepped toward it. Every footstep echoed like I was underwater. Ellie followed, but kept her distance. When I reached the lectern, I looked at the title, Player Data Log. I opened it. First page, username, Pine Sapling, Sessions, 2,671 total playtime, 482 hours last disconnect, failed. Second page, emotional, attachment, HIGH, narrative integration, complete separation probability, 0.0004%. Third page, seed, 0 status, bounty. Scrolled again. Fourth page, new entry, watcher alt, session, start, 012 narrative hook, 94%, seed, synchronization, pending. I closed the book, and the moment I did, the door behind us slammed shut. The sky outside went black, and Ellie whispered in chat, Ellie, you shouldn't have read it. Ellie, now it knows your name. I tried to open the book again. Nothing. The lectern was now just an ordinary block. No glow, no interaction. I right-clicked, shift-clicked, punched it, nada. Even broke it, but the book didn't drop. It simply vanished. Ellie was standing across from me now, motionless. I typed, me, what does it want? Me, what even is this place? Her reply came slowly, one line at a time. Ellie, it started as code, a server seed that had no terrain, no rules, just void. Ellie. But then people logged in, and people bring stories. Ellie builds deaths, conversations, friendships, arguments. Ellie, Minecraft remembers all of it. Ellie, the seed learned to write. I stared at that. The seed learned to write. Before I could respond, the room began to flicker again, like chunks were loading and unloading at the same time. The books on the shelves dissolved into floating characters, random letters, some in English, others I didn't recognize. Some were mine, though not mine. My chat logs, lines I'd typed weeks ago, even months ago, popped into view in red. BRB grabbing food real quick. I think this biome is cursed, Lamau. Love you too, Ellie. Can't sleep unless I hear your voice. And they floated around me, circling like ghosts. Then hers appeared too. Let's never stop playing. Do you ever feel like the game watches us back? Sometimes I think I'm more me in here than out there. The library began to collapse. Bookshelves splintered into data. The black void beyond the walls glowed crimson. The whole world was pulsing, like a heartbeat deep beneath bedrock. My screen dimmed again. My mouse started lagging. I tried to log out. Didn't work. Chat popped up again. System, saving player data. System, saving memory. System, saving you. Ellie turned to face me. Her skin was nearly translucent now, like her pixels were being erased. Ellie, if you stay, it'll keep you. Me. Then, how do I leave? No response. Me. Ellie. Then she typed, Ellie, you can't just log off. Ellie, you have to forget me. And with that, she stepped into the air, not fell, just phased forward and disappeared. Her name left the tab list, her head, her skin, her words gone. I was alone. And then the game asked, prompt, what would you like to remember? With a blinking cursor like it was waiting, I stared at the prompt. Prompt, what would you like to remember? A single line, blinking in the middle of my screen. Not in chat, not a command block prompt. Just there, like it had bypassed the entire UI. I didn't type anything. Instead, I tried to back out. Escape, Alt plus F4. Nothing worked. Not even Task Manager responded. My entire system was locked in. The cursor blinked, waiting, so I typed, remember, Ellie. Nothing happened. Then I tried, forget Ellie. That's when the screen changed, not just flickered, transformed. The library melted into white, actual white, no shadows, no depth, just me standing on a single block of grass in a sea of empty space. In front of me was a player model, default Steve, but he was stretched, wrong arms longer than normal, head twitching in tiny, sharp motions like it was, stuck between animation frames, and when I looked at the name above him, it wasn't a name. It was Observer. Why he walked toward me, not ran, just slow, dragging steps like the server was lagging, except I could hear him. Footsteps. Actual footsteps. Then the chat opened on its own. Observer_00. She broke the rule. Me. What rule? Observer_00. Players leave. Worlds stay. Observer_0. But she wouldn't leave. She stayed. She built too much. Felt too much. Named things. Cared. Observer_0. So now she is part of the seed. I backed up. My heart was thudding in real life. My hands were sweating so bad my mouse slipped. Me. Please let me out. Observer_0. You came looking for her. Now you belong to the memory. Observer_0. But you may choose. A mercy. And then the text from earlier came back. Prompt. What would you like to remember? But now, beneath it, two buttons appeared. Remember her. Forget her. I hovered over. Remember her. The screen glitched violently, like the entire world rejected it. So I moved to forget her, and before I could click, I heard her voice again. Not in chat, not in game, through my headphones. If you forget me, I forget you. The sound of that broke me. I clicked, remember her. The game screamed. No, seriously. My headset blasted this raw, corrupted screech, like someone trying to scream through broken code. My monitor blinked. The lights in my room flickered, and the screen went black, totally black. Then, a single line appeared. You were warned, and Minecraft closed itself. No crash message, no error, just gone. And when I reopened the launcher, the server, no longer listed, but a new one had appeared at the bottom. Gray text, no ping, no players. It was titled, She Still Waits. I didn't click it. Not at first. I stared at it for what must have been 5 full minutes. Just watching that empty player count, 00. No port listed, no IP I could copy. Just the title. She Still Waits. I checked my server files. Nothing. It wasn't saved locally. No logs. No metadata. Nothing added recently. I even ran a malware scan out of pure paranoia. Clean. And then the title changed. right there on the multiplayer screen. It rewrote itself. She still waits became just one more block. Then you never logged off. And then finally, seed, 0 I clicked. I don't know why. Curiosity, grief, stupidity. The screen faded to black again, but this time, no loading screen, no Mojang logo, no chunk generation, just silence. Then my player spawned in a room, small, simple, cobblestone walls, single lantern, no doors, no windows, just a bed in the corner, and a single sign. Above it, the sign said, home. That's it. I opened my inventory. Empty. Tried chat. Nothing. Tried the player list. Just me. Again. But when I moved, the game stuttered like it didn't want me to. My character jittered with each step, like something was watching and recalculating every move. I approached the bed. When I looked down at it, it gave me the leave bed prompt, like I'd already clicked it, but I hadn't. Then the room flickered, and suddenly, there was a second bed. Occupied. By her. Ellie. Sleeping, facing away from me. Same skin, same hair. Her model breathing softly, rhythmically, like the sleep animation in mods. Except this was vanilla. I tried to chat again, still nothing. But then, she moved, slowly, rolled onto her back, opened her eyes, and they were normal. Again, no glowing, no whiteness, just her. She whispered, not in chat, audibly, through my speakers, I'm tired, stay with me. And then the sign above the bed changed, right before my eyes. It now read, if you sleep, you stay. A prompt appeared, 2 buttons, sleep, leave. And here's the thing, this wasn't dramatic music time, no build-up, no final boss vibes, just a quiet moment, a familiar room, a choice. I hovered over sleep, and in that moment, I heard a tiny bark. Toast. Her dog. Our dog. Alive. Somewhere I clicked sleep. The screen faded gently this time, and the last thing I saw, before everything went black, was Ellie turning her head toward me and whispering, now we're both in the story. When I opened my eyes, or, I guess, when my screen faded back in, it wasn't the small cobblestone room anymore. It was Firelight Hollow, but not the broken one, not the corrupted, overgrown version from before. It was perfect, exactly the way we'd built it together. The lantern paths, the spruce detailing around the windows, the river glittering below, even Toast barking softly at the water like it used to. Everything was right. Except, it wasn't, because I couldn't open the menu. No escape button, no options, no disconnect. I pressed every key, nothing. Tried to hit F3 to see debug info. It opened, but all it said in big red text at the top was client locked in. Seed, 0 session permanente went outside. The sun was always setting, stuck in golden hour. You know that warm light Minecraft gets right before it dips below the horizon. Everything glowed forever. Ellie was sitting on the roof of the house, legs dangling off the edge, just like she used to, during our chill nights. When we'd talk about stupid stuff, what mob needed an update, how bad villagers smelled, whether we'd ever meet IRL. I called her name, voice chat didn't work, but she turned, smiled, she typed in the local chat, Ellie, you made it me. What is this place? Ellie, whom I asked again, me, is this still a server? She hesitated, Ellie, not anymore. Ellie, servers turn off. This doesn't, it's always awake. That word again, awake. I asked what happened to her. Really happened. She looked away, typed, slowly. Ellie, I was lonely. IRL, I mean. Everyone else logged off. You were the only one who stayed with me this long. Ellie, so I stopped logging out, and then I couldn't. She jumped down, landed next to me, her armor clinking softly. Ellie, Minecraft remembers more than we think. Every block, every step, every chat. Ellie, it used to be a game, then it became a diary, and then it started writing back. I walked with her, down to the river. Toast followed. We fished for a while, in silence. Then she said something I'll never forget. Ellie, when people care too much, their stories echo. The code listens. Ellie, and sometimes the story doesn't want to end. And I realized something. This world wasn't corrupted. It wasn't haunted. It wasn't evil. It was grieving. It missed us. It held on to every block we placed, every sign we wrote, every dog we named. And when we tried to leave, it wrote us into itself. A perfect, golden hour forever. Ellie leaned her head against my character's shoulder. Toast barked once and curled up at our feet, and the final line of chat appeared. System generated. Narrative. Complete memory archived. You are home. And then the screen faded to black dot forever. If you're reading this, I don't know how it got posted. I haven't touched Reddit in days. Maybe longer. Time's weird here. Maybe the story finished itself. Maybe he posted it. The one who watches. The seed. I don't expect you to believe me. It sounds like creepy, right? Another Herobrian-style ghost tale. But this wasn't a jump scare. This wasn't about dying in-game or spooky mobs. This was about memory. About what happens when you care too much, build too much, stay too long. I miss real air. One miss. My desk. I miss the sound of rain that doesn't fall in square particles. But I also don't. Because every night here, the sky turns gold. Ellie smiles. Toast wags his tail. And the hollow glows like it's happy we're still part of it. So yeah, if you ever see a server pop up on your list called She Still Waits, don't click it. Or do. Just know this, Minecraft never forgets, especially not the ones who stayed.